Welcome to the Wife Stories YouTube channel. New video every day, and don't forget to subscribe. Here we go.
Divorce. I've scribbled the word so many times tonight that it barely feels real anymore. Each letter slants forward in my messy handwriting, like it's rushing to escape my mind before I have time to second guess. The pen scratches across the lined paper, and I'm shaking. From anger, from betrayal, from 1,000 storms converging in my chest. Water runs in the bathroom, faint but distinct through the bedroom wall. She's in there, the door half shut, warm light seeping into the dark hallway. I can practically hear the hush of the showerhead. But I also hear something else, an extra sound, a soft moan, a laugh that isn't hers alone. She's not alone at all. My fingers tighten around the pen. I drag in a breath. The air smells of sweat and lavender soap, but I can't walk in there yet. If I kick that door open, if I see what I already know, maybe I'll do something I regret. So I sit, and I wait, the word divorce glaring from the paper in front of me. I feel like a man standing over the coffin of everything he built and believed in. 20 years of marriage, fatherhood, morning coffees, shared secrets. It's all in that wooden box, lowered into damp, cold earth. The water stops. Silence. Then hushed, hurried whispers. My heart thunders. I rise on unsteady legs, carrying the notepad like a shield. Sarah's voice, followed by a deeper murmur. Wet footsteps, a brush of cloth. There's a part of me screaming. Snap the door open, tear the curtain aside, catch them in the act for real. But I'm so tired. Tired of imagining how many times this has happened, how many nights I was the last one to bed, how many days I told myself I was overthinking small signs. A new perfume she never wore around me, or that sly little smile when she texted at midnight. My life feels like a photo negative. Everything's reversed and shadowed. The door creaks. I glimpse a silhouette. 2 silhouettes, pressed close. My stomach clenches. She sees me and freezes, eyes like those of an animal caught in headlights. The man behind her, taller, broader. Probably the guy from the pictures on her phone. The same phone she always guarded with a passcode. I don't need more proof, do I? Sarah's lips part, a trembling exhale escaping. Michael. I can't speak. My voice is stuck in the dryness of my throat, so I just turn away. I walk out of the bedroom, down the hall, hearing the frantic shuffle behind me, like they're unsure whether to run or apologize. In the living room, the lamp's dim glow spills across the couch where we used to sit on Sunday nights. I stop near the door. I can't bear to look back. Footsteps approach. I grip the doorknob, forcing myself to breathe, but my breath hitches. Everything feels wrong in here. The pictures on the wall, the wedding photo from our first dance, the side table with that stupid little porcelain dog she loved collecting. I hate all of it now. Michael, wait. Sarah pleads behind me. She's wrapped hastily in a robe. Her hair is damp, dripping onto the hardwood floor. The man, Daniel Hawthorne, if I remember right, stands half a step behind her in a towel, chest glistening. This isn't what it looks like. I want to laugh at that line, but it comes out as a hoarse cough. My voice, when it finally emerges, sounds hollow. Then what is it, exactly? She clutches the robe tighter. Her eyes flit from me to him, then back. She looks cornered. Daniel tries to take a step forward, but I lift a hand. Not 1 inch, I say, letting my words come out like an exhausted threat. I study his face, that well-groomed stubble, the faint perfume of expensive cologne. You don't belong here. A muscle twitches in his jaw, but he doesn't speak. Smart. And Sarah, she's trembling, water still running from her hair down her neck. My gaze lands on the bruised, reddened marks at her collarbone. That's all the confirmation I need. I let out a shuddering breath. Sarah, I'm leaving. You can keep. My voice breaks. I swallow, forcing the words out. You can keep him. You can keep everything. But I'm done. Her eyes glisten with tears. She reaches for me, but I jerk my shoulder away and head out. My heart hammers. My entire world feels like it's collapsing. Yet a strange numbness sets in. I hear them behind me, Sarah calling my name, Daniel muttering curses under his breath. But I keep going. Out the front door, into the cold night air, down the porch steps, along the sidewalk. The only thought in my head is, I'm free. But the cost is so high it burns. I walk for an hour, maybe 2, could be 3. My mind churns with images I can't unsee, memories I can't trust anymore. By the time I return, the house is dark. No lights in the windows. Her car's still in the driveway, but there's no sign of his. I slip inside like a ghost, not even turning on the lamp. The silence is deafening. I collapse onto the couch and stare at the ceiling, the word divorce echoing in my thoughts. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. Next day, I wake up so stiff, I can barely straighten my spine. My eyes feel raw, like I never truly slept. Sarah's not in the house. Her room is empty, bed untouched. Good. I don't have the energy for another confrontation. I grab my thermos of coffee and head out on foot, ignoring the abandoned morning paper in our mailbox. The spring chill grips the air, as if the world itself has turned cold to match me. I end up at the little park by the old oak trees, the one where kids feed ducks in the pond. I find an empty bench near a statue dedicated to local war veterans, sink down, and uncap my thermos. The black coffee is bitter on my tongue, but I relish it. It's the only warmth in my day so far. That's when I see it. A newspaper, carefully folded, left on the bench. Could be from some early visitor who forgot it. The front page is halfway visible. I catch the words Businessman of the Year, and there's a photo at the bottom. My pulse stirs with a vague sense of recognition. I pick it up, and my whole body goes cold. Sarah stands there in a bright red coat. The same red coat I gave her for our 20th anniversary, and she's smiling. Next to her, Daniel Hawthorne has a casual hand on her waist, just like I used to. The headline, Rising Star Entrepreneur and His New Muse. I stare at the picture until the letters blur. I should have seen it coming, that overshadowed look in her eyes whenever I asked about her day. The late work nights, the frequent texts, all the coincidences, but seeing it blasted in the local paper like this feels worse than betrayal. It's humiliation. This is how the world sees me. A man clueless enough not to notice his wife parading around town with a local celebrity. I close my eyes. My face twists in a bitter grimace. The coffee in my gut churns, threatening to come back up. The old bench creaks beneath me as if it might give way. A wave of dizziness hits me. For a moment, I can't breathe. But there's no screaming, no outward meltdown. I push myself up, fold the newspaper, tuck it under my arm. My mind is strangely calm, a deadly calm, the kind that comes when you're past the point of heartbreak and stepping into something else. Cold resolve. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. Later that afternoon, I do something I never thought I'd do. I pick up my phone and dial Daniel Hawthorne's office. I tell his assistant my name and make up a story about wanting to surprise my wife with a big kitchen remodel. The assistant passes me along until I hear that smooth, confident voice on the line. "This is Daniel," he says. I fight the urge to spit curses. "Hi, Daniel, it's Michael Roberts." I reply, voice steady, almost polite. "Sarah's husband." He's silent for a beat, just the faint hiss of air through the receiver. "Yes." He tries to mask his caution, but I hear it. "I want to do something special for her," I say, ignoring the irony. "Renovate the kitchen, maybe the living room. Surprise her. She's always dreamed of it. You're her friend. I'm sure you know her tastes." Another silence. Then he clears his throat. "Right. Of course. Sarah's mentioned some ideas to me. If you'd like to discuss." "Yes. My place. Today, 6 p.m. I rattle off the address. "I'd appreciate if you come alone." want to keep it a secret from her. He hesitates, but greed or arrogance gets the better of him. He's that kind of man. An opportunist. Sure. Today at 6. The call ends. I stand there in the kitchen, the same one I apparently want to renovate, listening to the humming fridge. My reflection in the steel toaster looks older than I remember. There's a small flicker in my chest. Satisfaction. He's going to come right to my door. Asterisk, 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 5:30 rolls around, and I'm pacing the living room in silence. I can't stand the pictures of Sarah and me on the walls. I gather them up. Wedding photo, holiday snapshots with our son when he was little. I stuff them in a drawer. I can't let them watch what happens next. At 5:45, Sarah walks in, arms full of shopping bags. She looks startled to see me near the entryway. For a second, we just stare at each other. Her hair is neatly styled, makeup perfect, like she's been out for a pleasant day. My gaze drops to her neck, and there they are, faint traces of kisses that weren't mine. My jaw clenches so tight it hurts. "Michael, you're home early," she says. Her voice trembles at the edges. We need to talk." "Yes," I say flatly. "We do." Before she can continue, the doorbell rings. My heart nearly stops. She glances at the clock, confusion flickering across her face. "Who's that?" I flash her a quick, cold smile. "A friend of yours." I open the door. Daniel steps in, wearing a tailored suit that probably costs more than my monthly mortgage. He's got a briefcase in one hand, but the confidence in his eyes flickers out the second he sees Sarah standing behind me. They exchange a glance that says everything. Guilt, panic, disbelief. I shut the door with deliberate care, as if the hinges might snap otherwise. "Welcome," I say. My voice sounds eerily calm. "You're here to help me plan a renovation, right?" I lock the door with a loud click. Sarah sets her shopping bags down, eyes darting from me to Daniel. "Michael, what the hell is going on?" I fold my arms. "I think you both know exactly what's going on." My voice wavers, and I push out the next words even though they tear at my throat. "I've seen the pictures. The newspaper. The two of you. You've been quite public, actually." Daniel tries to smile, but it fails miserably. "Let's not make a scene," he says, glancing around like the place might be bugged. "Michael, we're all adults here. Maybe we can talk privately." Sarah rushes forward, her hand trembling against the collar of her blouse. I can explain. Please." I lift a hand to stop her. "No more explanations. This is my house, and you're both in it. What you did," my voice cracks, "what you did is an invasion of trust, of my life. So let's keep it consistent and make it official, shall we?" I pull out my phone. My finger hovers over the number pad. Daniel's eyes widen. "Who are you calling?" "Police," I say. "I'm reporting an intrusion. A personal violation." Sarah's face goes pale. "You're not serious." I press the dial. "Yes, officer." I keep my gaze on Daniel while I speak. My voice is low, icy. "I'd like to report that someone came uninvited into my home. Yes, I believe there may be some malicious intent." Daniel curses under his breath. "You're insane." I click off the call, toss my phone on the couch. An uncomfortable hush falls. I imagine the cops in their cruisers, maybe a few minutes away. My plan is half-cocked, but I don't care anymore. I'll let the world see them the way I saw them. "Michael," Sarah says, her voice quivering. This isn't going to help anything. We can figure this out." I shake my head. "Figure out what, Sarah?" "That you prefer to be with him rather than me." I try to keep my composure, but I feel the bitterness welling up, scalding my throat. 20 years gone. You took everything we built and handed it to him. She starts to cry, but I don't let it weaken me. The tears don't move me right now. I watch Daniel stand there, shoulders tense, probably rehearsing damage control for the moment the police arrive. He's used to controlling narratives, but not this one. We wait in tense silence, punctuated only by Sarah's unsteady breathing. 5 minutes. Then the blue and red lights flash through the window. Shadows swirl across the living room walls. Headlights blind us for a second. I open the door without a word, letting 2 uniformed officers step inside. "All right, sir," the older cop says, looking around at the awkward scene. "What's the issue here?" I run a hand over my face, forcing calm. "I found these people in my house without my permission. I believe they were intruding on my personal space." My voice wavers on that last phrase. The cop looks from me to Sarah and Daniel, reading the tension. He probably sees the heartbreak in my eyes, or maybe just another domestic dispute. "Are they family?" he asks. I glance at Sarah's tear-streaked cheeks. "She's my wife, officer, though it doesn't feel that way anymore." Then I look at Daniel. He is not family, nor is he welcome. One of the officers steps toward Daniel. "Sir, your name?" Daniel's posture straightens. He tries to muster his businesslike authority. "Daniel Hawthorne." "Look, officer, this is a misunderstanding. We had a prior invitation." The cop flicks a glance my way. I give a slow nod. "Yes. I invited him for a renovation discussion. But this..." I wave a hand at the tension, at Sarah's panic. It's turned into something else entirely. I want them both out, and I want this on record. Sarah blurts, "Michael, you're humiliating me." "Please." Her words turn to silence when the other officer lifts a camera. "Sir, you sure you want everything documented?" "Yes," I say, my voice cracking. I cast a glance at Daniel. He's a public figure, after all. Outside, I notice flickers of phones, neighbors stepping onto their porches, someone filming from across the street. A wave of shock, fear, and odd satisfaction washes over me. The pain in my chest throbs, but I let it fuel me. Let them record. Let them see. The officers escort Sarah and Daniel out. The cameras flash. There's a stifling hush in the neighborhood, broken only by the frantic clicks of a phone from my neighbor, who's probably streaming this live. Sarah tries to shield her face. Daniel sets his jaw, refusing to answer reporters' questions that must be swirling in the onlookers' minds. And me. I stand on the stoop, arms crossed. I don't say a word. The older cop turns to me. "Sir, you have the right to file a formal complaint, but it might be more complicated if your wife lives here. Is that your intention?" My throat feels parched. Sarah looks back at me with eyes full of sorrow. For a moment, I almost crumble, but then the image of her in that red coat with him, and the memory of hearing them in my own bathroom, flares up like a black spark. "I'll deal with the details later," I manage. "For now, I just want them gone." The cop nods, leading them to the sidewalk. Daniel stands in the swirl of people with cameras. Sarah's shoulders tremble. I think I see her mouth form my name one last time, but I can't hear it over the blood pounding in my ears. Then they climb into their separate cars, Daniel in his sleek silver coupe, Sarah in her sedan, and vanish into the night. I inhale shakily and look at the empty street. My neighbor is still filming, but I'm too drained to care. I just lean against the doorway, exhaling all the breath I have left. The older cop gives me a long look, like he wants to say something paternal. Finally, he just nods. "Have a good night, sir." And then I'm alone with the swirling darkness, the camera lights fading, the crowd dispersing. The confusion, the heartbreak, the rage, it's all here. But deeper than that is a grim calm. I step inside, lock the door from the inside, rest my forehead against the wood. "I'm done," I whisper. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. The next days pass in a blur of phone calls, paperwork, and awkward stares at the office. People must have seen the footage or read the gossip pages. Everyone's polite enough to keep the questions to themselves, but I feel the pity in their glances like pins on my skin. I decide to sell it all. The house, the car, even the small boat I spent years restoring so I could teach our son to fish. He's in college now, living across the country. I call him one afternoon and try to explain, in short words, that Mom and Dad are divorcing. He's stunned, says he had no idea. I don't have the heart to tell him I was just as clueless until last week. The real estate agent is more than happy to list the property. The market is up, she says. My hands shake when I sign the papers, but then that wave of relief hits me. I'll have nowhere to go, but at least I won't have to pace these rooms at night, haunted by memories of better times. I pack up a few boxes of clothes, some photos, mostly the ones with my son, and not much else. Let Sarah take the rest. Let Daniel buy her more. The day I move out, I feel a curious lightness, like stepping out of a burning building after barely escaping the flames. Sure, the smell of smoke lingers, but you're grateful to be alive. I call a motel near the interstate, pay for a few nights in cash. It's an anonymous, dingy place, but the bed is clean and the TV works. I sit there on the bed's edge, the hum of the air conditioner drowning my thoughts. I feel empty, like a plastic bag drifting in the wind, but it's an emptiness without illusions. Nobody is lying to me now. Nobody's double-checking that I won't catch them sneaking around. I'm alone with the truth. A few weeks later, I'm at a small coffee shop down the road from the motel, the final documents for the house sale in a folder by my elbow. I'm dressed in jeans and a flannel shirt, feeling more like a drifter than the insurance agent I used to be. The barista calls out my name, handing me a black coffee to go. I nod in thanks, then step outside. The warmth of the afternoon sun on my face feels different, sharper somehow. My phone buzzes. I check the caller ID. Sarah. I stand there, watching the screen flicker with her name. For a moment, my heart clenches, memories pulling me under. But I don't answer. I just let it ring. Then I see a news alert pop up. Local entrepreneur, Daniel Hawthorne, under fire for alleged extramarital affair. There's a mention of the scandal, the photos from that night with the police, the camera footage. The court of public opinion is tearing him apart. The swirling thoughts of revenge I once had flutter inside me. But I feel no joy, no triumph, just a strange sense of closure. I walk down the sidewalk, sipping the coffee. Each step feels like a farewell to the man I was. The story will fade. The pictures in the newspaper will be replaced by something else tomorrow. But I'll always remember how it felt to be so thoroughly betrayed. I might never trust so easily again. Maybe that's the price of living with eyes open. It's nearly a month after the day I locked them both in my house and called the cops. I'm on a small pier in a neighboring town, looking at used sailboats. One in particular catches my eye. Not too big, not too fancy, but sturdy. The owner says he wants a quick sail. I trace the side with my fingertips, thinking about the quiet hum of water under the hull, the wide horizon, a chance to drift away from everything that burned behind me. My phone buzzes again. I fish it out of my jacket. This time it's my mother, calling from Chicago. She's worried, she says. She heard rumors, saw a clip on social media. I explain in brief, measured words that Sarah and I are done, that I'm picking up the pieces. She sighs, offers me a place to stay, says she's proud that I didn't resort to violence. I assure her I'm fine, just forging a new path. After I hang up, I stroke the side of the boat. What do you think? The owner asks, a middle-aged fellow with sun-creased skin. It's got miles left, just needs a good caretaker. I picture myself, alone on open waters, no anchors to hold me. Something in me stirs. Pain, yes, but also possibility. I think I'll take it, I say. He grins, slapping the hull. You got yourself a deal. And right then, I feel the faintest pull of a smile at the corners of my mouth. Like maybe I'm stepping into the next chapter, battered but breathing. Sure, there's a hollow ache inside me, the remains of heartbreak and betrayal. But as I walk away to finalize the paperwork, I catch a glimpse of my reflection in the marina office window. There's a man there who won't be lied to again. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. Night settles by the water, and I bring a sleeping bag on board. The boat's name is painted Dawn, half faded on the side. Inside, it smells of old rope and sea salt. I lie down, thinking about everything that happened. The shock in Daniel's eyes, the way Sarah looked at me when the cameras flashed, her desperate voice calling my name. I relive the moment I locked that door, my heart pounding as though it might tear from my chest. Even then, I knew it wouldn't fix the betrayal. Nothing could. But at least I exposed the lies. At least I refused to go quietly. In the faint moonlight, the water outside glistens like shards of broken glass, reflecting the city's distant glow. I recall how Sarah used to talk about traveling the world someday, exploring exotic beaches. Now I wonder if she'll do that with him. And the strangest part is, I don't feel anger at the thought, just a dull acceptance. It's quiet on the deck. The marina is asleep. My breath steadies. The ocean's gentle rocking lulls me. I'm alone, but I'm not suffocating under the weight of deceit anymore. That's something, isn't it? I close my eyes, the word divorce drifting through my mind. It feels more final now, more absolute. But also, it's less a threat and more a path forward, carved out by necessity. A path I can walk, or sail, with no illusions. The heartbreak hasn't left me, but the illusions have burned away, revealing my life as it is. Raw, real, open-ended. A man can rebuild from that. So I let the night carry me. If tears come, they come silently, with no audience. My voice, which so often wavered, can rest now. And in that stillness, I realize the greatest victory isn't punishing them. It's surviving. Unbroken in spirit, forging a new morning out of these battered ruins. Because once the lies are stripped away, you either crumble or you stand. And by God, I'm going to stand. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. I wake at dawn to the gentle sway of the boat. Light seeps through the portholes. My back aches a bit from the cramped sleeping space, but I welcome the discomfort. It reminds me I'm alive. After rolling up my sleeping bag, I step onto the deck. The harbor is shrouded in early morning haze. Gulls wheel overhead, calling to one another. I take a breath of briny air. For the first time, in what feels like forever, my mind is clear of static. I fish my phone from my pocket. There's a text from Sarah, something about finalizing the divorce papers. She's suggesting a mediator, says we can do this amicably. Another text from Daniel's number. We need to talk. Let's handle this with dignity. I stand there, the phone in my palm, reading their pleas. Apologies or demands, I can't tell which. I let out a long sigh. Then I drop the phone into my jacket pocket and reach for a coil of rope, starting to learn the boat's rating. I'm done with their attempts to handle me. Let the lawyers do their job. Let the tabloids say what they will. I have my own journey now. The water slaps gently against the hull, as if urging me to move forward. And I will. I tie off a line, testing its strength. My mind wanders to my father, how he taught me to tie knots in Boy Scouts, back in Chicago. Those days feel centuries away. I wonder if he'd be proud of me, or if he'd tell me to fight for my marriage. But no, he always told me that there's a line between loyalty and self-destruction. Once that line is crossed, you do what you must to preserve your dignity. The engine sputters when I test it, but it starts eventually. I guide the boat out of the slip just a few yards, enough to feel the ocean's gentle pull. My heart flutters with a hint of excitement. Maybe I'll sail down the coast. Maybe I'll anchor near some secluded beach for a few weeks. Nobody's waiting for me. Nobody's depending on me to come home for dinner. There's sadness in that fact, but also a strange liberation. My phone buzzes again, but this time I ignore it completely. I stand at the wheel, feeling the early sun on my face, the breeze that carries a promise of something fresh, something honest. I remember the word scrawled on my notepad last night. Divorce. The final seal on a life I thought I'd live forever. But in the hush of morning, I realize it's also a key. A key to open a door out of that burning, suffocating place. I don't know where this path leads, but at least it's mine. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. By noon, I'm back at the docks, finishing up some paperwork with the marina manager. I see a couple of passers-by glance at me, probably recognizing my face from local gossip or the viral videos. My private pain has become public fodder, but the stares don't sting as much as they did a week ago. Let them look. I'm not the man I was before. I'm someone else now. I toss a last glance at Painted Dawn. I'll be out again soon, I tell the marina manager. He just nods, pocketing the keys. I walk up the boardwalk, heading for a diner that's perched at the edge of the pier. The old me would never stand going to a place like this alone. I'd have called Sarah or texted a friend. Today, I crave that solitude. In the diner's big windows, I see my reflection. Tall, broad-shouldered, hair more gray than it used to be, lines etched around my eyes that weren't there a year ago. I push open the door, step inside. The smell of frying bacon and coffee greets me. A waitress, older and matronly, waves me to a booth. I slide in, order black coffee and scrambled eggs. The hush of the place soothes me, the gentle chatter of a few regulars talking about the weather or the baseball game. The waitress returns with a steaming cup, and I cradle it in my hands. The heat seeps into my palms. I stare at that coffee, remembering how just a few weeks ago I sipped from my thermos in the park and discovered the truth in a single photograph. My entire life flipped upside down in that moment. A wave of sorrow hits me, but it's tinged with acceptance. This is the new reality. It hurts, but it doesn't kill me. I pull out my phone, scanning through the messages. There's one from my lawyer, reminding me about the mediation meeting in a few days. Another from an unknown number, likely a reporter. I scroll past them. My eyes land on a text from my son. Dad, let me know you're okay. Guilt pricks at me. He's too far away to see how I'm doing in person. I type a quick reply. I'm making changes, but I'm safe. We'll call soon. Love you, kid. I send it, exhaling. The waitress returns with eggs and toast. I manage a small thank you, my voice barely above a whisper. She offers a kind smile. I see no judgment in her eyes, just compassion. The eggs taste like rubber in my mouth, but I force them down anyway. Gotta keep up my strength, I tell myself. There's a day coming soon when I'll finalize the divorce, sign the papers, watch the last shreds of that marriage slip away. After that, it's up to me to shape my life however I see fit. I finish my meal, leave a tip, and wander outside. The day's grown warmer. I see a father walking hand in hand with a little girl. The sight twists my heart, reminding me of the times I used to hold my son's hand when crossing the street, before everything got so complicated with adult responsibilities and heartbreak. I keep walking, letting the boards creak beneath my steps. It's not until I reach the far end of the pier that I realize I'm crying. Quiet tears, the kind that slip out when you're not paying attention. A man in his 50s, crying in the open. A gull screeches overhead. The ocean breeze carries the scent of salt and possibility. I wipe my face, telling myself it's just the wind making my eyes water. But deep down, I know it's grief for what was lost. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. Days pass, and the inevitability of the divorce hearing looms. My lawyer calls to confirm the final meeting. I show up at an office with sterile white walls, a cheap desk, fluorescent lights buzzing overhead. Sarah's there, dressed neatly in a blazer, hair pinned back. She looks older too, tension lines crossing her brow. For a moment, we meet eyes, and I wonder if she regrets any of this. Daniel is nowhere to be seen, maybe because it's not his business, or because he's busy salvaging his own reputation. I sink into a plastic chair. The mediator explains we'll go through assets, finalize the terms. The hush in that office crackles with unspoken words. Sarah occasionally glances at me, but I keep my gaze fixed on the table. Let her see I'm not the same man who used to cave at the first sign of her tears. We signed the papers. My hand trembles once when I see the word irreconcilable differences, but I press on. The pen's tip glides across the lines, sealing the end of 2 decades in a few strokes. It's surreal. I can't decide if it feels too big or too trivial. At the end, the mediator folds up the documents. That's all for now. You'll get the final decree in a few weeks once the judge signs. Sarah stands, smoothing her skirt. She looks at me, lips parted. Michael, I don't let her finish. I rise, gather my jacket, and nod to the mediator. Then I walk out. My footsteps echo in the hallway. The time for confessions or apologies is gone. Whatever she wants to say, I can't hear it right now. My heart is too fragile to hold her words. Outside, sunlight floods the glass entryway. I push open the door to the street, the crisp air hitting me like a slap. But in that rush of cold, I sense a small release. My phone chimes. Another message. Maybe from a coworker, maybe from some curious friend. I silence it. I can't go back to that life. Not today. Maybe not ever. I step onto the sidewalk, realizing that everything, the house, the marriage, the illusions, is behind me. It's a new world. As painful as it is, as shattered as I feel, I also recognize a flicker of something I almost forgot. Hope. A hope that maybe I can rebuild from this scorched earth. A memory surfaces, the day I tried to start writing the word divorce, and ended up shaking so badly, the pen dug into the paper. Now, it's a legal fact. And I'm still standing. I stand there, watching cars speed by, pedestrians hurrying with their own burdens. I wonder how many of them carry heartbreak behind polite smiles, how many have endured their own quiet betrayals. Pain is everywhere, but we hide it, package it, and try to move on. I exhale, letting my breath fog in the cool air. Then I turn on my heel, heading toward the train station. Maybe I'll buy a ticket to Chicago, see my mother for a while. Or maybe I'll drive down to Florida, find a slip for Painted Dawn, see if I can learn how to sail properly in warmer waters. The details don't matter yet. What matters is that the next step belongs to me, and no one else. I catch my reflection in a store window as I pass. I look worn, but I also look alive. A small bruise remains under my eye, probably from one of my many restless nights on a borrowed couch or sleeping bag. But there's a firmness in my posture, a new set to my jaw. I'm a man who's been lied to, humiliated, left with nothing but a battered heart. And yet I'm still here, forging on. Somewhere behind me, in a fancy penthouse or maybe some out-of-town condo, Daniel Hawthorne is spinning the story to salvage his brand. And Sarah is picking up the pieces of her own life, maybe regretting the moment she let everything slip. Let them. I'm done being part of their narrative. I have my own story to write, no matter how scared the pages. The sun drifts behind a building, casting a long shadow across the street. I take a step forward, letting the hush of the afternoon envelop me. For the first time in a long time, I walk without a weight on my shoulders, without a lie in my pocket. That matters more than anything. Truth tastes bitter at first, but in the end, it sets you free. And that's exactly what I am, in this moment. Free.